Welcome back to Limitless, Yvonne the podcast, where we deep dive into breaking barriers and unlocking your limitless potential. I'm your host, Yvonne Sharma. Today I'm sharing a personal solo episode inspired by the incredible conversations I had recently with Frierson and Wayne Harris. Both of these guests opened about the challenges they face. Fred overcoming bullying and personal loss, find his voice in music, and Wayne navigating life without his mother, relying on mentorship to guide him. Their stories reminding me of moments in my own journey and how resilience, persistence, and the right mindset can change everything. If you're ever stuck or feel like you're not making progress, this episode is for you. We're going to explore how to shift out of that rut, find confidence, and turn life's challenging into stepping stones towards growth. Let me start with a story close to my heart. You have heard about the struggles I've faced dealing with depression, understanding my disability, and how those challenges impacted my confidence and well-being. One of the challenges I want to share was when I felt like no matter what I did, I couldn't move forward. It was like being stuck at a rut. At the time, I was working at Rogers, and during that week, I had taken a few weeks off. That whole week, I felt completely lost, unsure of my direction and my purpose, or how to even break from the cycle I was in. That's when I reached out to my coach, Mike Urso, who shared something that completely shifted my perspective. He encouraged me to have 3 to 5 negotiables, wins every week. That was when I realized, before I started the podcast, I actually was in a group coaching session by Joe Johnson. Shout out to Joe. It was about having non-negotiables. 1 or 2 things, or even 5, let's say. But for this week, for this episode, I'm going to tell you about 2 to 5 wins. So whatever you do, you have to complete these goals. So these could be small or big. Anything I could focus on accomplishing, no matter what. Mike told me these wins are what will ground me and remind me of my progress. At first, I started like waking up, doing meditation, posting my content. These wins built on each other, week by week. They gave me a structure, a sense of purpose, and more importantly, confidence. I started realizing, hey, I can actually do this. These small wins became the foundation for bigger change in my life. Listening to Fred Frierson share about how he overcame bullying and the loss of his mother to build a life of purpose reminded me of these moments. And Wayne Harris, who grew up without his mother, speaking about leaning on mentorship and how persistence can guide you even when the path isn't clear. Their stories echo the same truth I've come to live by. Resilience is built one small, intentional action at a time. So let's talk about how to take these small actions and turn your pain into power. Pain can feel like all-consuming. There's no way forward, or you can't get out. But what if I told you your pain holds lessons that can transform your life? Here's an example of my own journey. After the low point where I was battling cold and started tracking my wins, I made a commitment to at least create 2 to 3 contents each week, even though I could barely breathe at the time. That meant holding myself to a specific standard, because I learned that having too little of a standard doesn't help you grow, and having too high of a standard leaves you dissatisfied with everything. I continued doing my meditation practice every morning and wrote out specific wins for the day. While I allowed myself to embrace the need for rest, I didn't let it overshadow the progress I was making. Healing came first, but that also meant I had to keep moving forward. As long as I was moving, that means I was going to be alright, even if it was at a slower pace. Here's how you can reframe your challenges. Acknowledge the pain, don't suppress it, or pretend it's not there. Sit with it, understand it, and give yourself grace. Identify the lesson. Every challenge carries a lesson. Maybe it's teaching you patience, resilience, or need to set boundaries. What's one challenge you're trying to What's your challenge trying to show you? Challenge it into action. Use what you have learned to take a small step forward. Doesn't have to be small, perfect. Just start. Now let's get practical. Here's a 3-step exercise you can try this week. Step 1. Take 5 minutes to write down one challenge you're facing. Be specific and honest with yourself. Step 2. Ask yourself, what's one thing this challenge has taught me so far? Maybe it's about inner strength, persistence, or asking for help. Step 3. Commit to one action based on that lesson. It could be reaching out to a mentor, starting a journal, or setting boundaries with someone in your life. And here's the optional bonus. Adapt Coach Mike's strategy. Write down 2 to 5 wins for your week. These don't have to be grand achievements. Maybe it's drinking more water, reaching out to a friend, or making progress on a project. These wins add up. They're how, as you go through this week, I want you to reflect on your own story. What challenges are you facing right now? What lessons could they be teaching you? And most importantly, what small action you can take to move forward? I'd love to hear from you. Share your wins, your challenges, or your reflections with me on Instagram or TikTok. I'm always here to connect and grow with you. If you found this episode useful or helpful, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Remember, the path to growth isn't about taking giant leaps. It's about consistently showing up for yourself, one small step at a time. Your journey is unique, and potential is limitless. Stay limitless.